Welcome back to Suncoast Changers. My name is Graham. Today I've been entrusted by Scott to kind of make a little bit of a video showing you guys our process so that you understand what things go through when you entrust your machine to us. Now today I'm going to be working on an all black Mark IV hopper, and I'm just kind of dusting things off right now, getting any loose dirt or cobwebs off. We're going to be doing a deep clean a little later in the video, but I'm just kind of knocking off what I can see for now, and then we're going to go ahead and get it on the bench and do some testing. We test all machines that come in just to double check that what you think is wrong with your device is in fact what's wrong with your device, but also a lot of you don't include notes in your box. Please put a letter in the box when you send us your machine so that we know what's going on with it. Now in the case of this hopper, there wasn't anything wrong with it. The owner had recently acquired it along with several others, and they didn't really know the history of it. They didn't know how long it had been sitting, so we just went ahead and gave it a quick test. Tested just fine. We're going to go ahead and take it apart and get it all cleaned up and do any adjustments that need to be done in the gearbox. Luckily in this case there wasn't anything too crazy, but we'll talk about that when I get it open. Now, if you're considering doing something like this at home and trying to clean up your own machine, I highly recommend that you do not use an electric screwdriver. The only reason that we're using one is because it's a very low torque electric screwdriver, so we don't have to worry about it stripping anything out, and we do not use that for putting the machine back together again. It's really easy to strip out these screws, and once they're stripped out, there really isn't a whole lot that you can do about it. You just have to replace the plastic housing, and that can get expensive fast. So if you're going to try and do this at home, I recommend using a hand screwdriver and not trying to use an electric screwdriver. Now in the case of this gearbox, these gears had been sitting for quite a while and things had dried out, so we're going to go ahead and replace that grease. But in addition to this, you can see me completely cleaning out everything, and that's because the previous owner used gun grease. Please do not use gun grease on your machines. It's not meant for this sort of thing, and it makes the machine really nasty, really fast. Now, if you've never taken one of these apart before to try to clean it, you're going to see that these track pieces, they fall apart quite easily once you undo that initial loop, but they do go back together quite easily, and once you reattach it into a loop, it does hold itself together quite well. Now, all of this having been said though, if you're feeling confident and you do want to try to clean your own machine, we highly recommend that you put rubbing alcohol on a rag and clean it that way, or scrubbing bubbles onto a rag and clean it that way. Please do not just spray things wildly into your machine, and please don't use anything more aggressive than scrubbing bubbles. You don't know what's going to damage the plastic, and once you start to damage the plastic, there's no coming back from that. It'll just continue to erode over time, and once it gets to a certain point, you're just going to have to replace that plastic housing, and that can get expensive kind of quickly. Now, if you thought you could handle this and you've gotten into your machine and you realize, I'm having second thoughts about this, or I'm not sure if I'm putting this back together properly, there is no shame in admitting that you took it apart, but you didn't feel confident putting it back together again. Make sure all your parts are in a plastic bag and just send us everything all at once. We'll be more than happy to put it back together for you and make sure that you haven't damaged anything. Now, our testing process does vary depending on the type of machine as well as what kind of error it was originally dealing with. In the case of today's hopper, I'm able to hook it into this clicker device, which basically just simulates a bill acceptor taking in money. Now today we're going to be testing using over $400 worth of quarters, as we want to make sure that this is a real world test. We want to make sure that this simulates what your machine's going to be going through, so that way if there are any additional errors that need to be taken care of while it's here, it gets taken care of now instead of having to come back to us again soon. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys found today's video a little bit interesting. If you're interested in having us do some repair work on one of your bill changers, feel free to give us a call at 863-669-9699, or feel free to reach out to us through our website at billchangers.com. We look forward to hearing from you.